I tell people that I'm a student of the heart, and that comes from my experience with working with people on the emotional level. I have a background in natural health. I'm also a certified nutritional consultant, so I have been working with people about consulting with them on their health. And what I have found over the years is that many of the physical symptoms that people have can also be tied to their emotional situation. Scalar Heart Connection is a tool, actually. It's a method, or you could call it a process, that helps people navigate through, I would say, subconscious beliefs, or maybe these negative beliefs or habituated patterns that we tend to pick up from childhood and just from cultural conditioning. And these are the beliefs that oftentimes put us into limitation. And it's the limitation that stands in the way of our relationships and some of our career goals, our creativity, and can also, as I said, play a role in our physical health. Well, the process itself has a few, I guess you would say, iterations. I studied things like the Ewan method or resonance repatterning, and so I had a sense of how to approach sort of the subconscious mind, if you would, using applied kinesiology. That was, has been the standard. And what I wanted to do was find a way to reach the subconscious through the heart. And the reason for that is because when you're working with someone from a distance, it's really highly impractical to do muscle testing because, first of all, they're not present. And then if you as a practitioner are muscle testing on yourself, then the person on the other line of the phone has no real connection with what's happening. And so I had a friend, and I was telling them about sort of what I wanted to do, and they said, well, I work with my sister by asking our heart to pick a number that would be on the menu, as opposed to doing the muscle testing. And I thought that's brilliant because of all the research that I've been seeing about how the heart is connected to future events and the way that the heart is, more information goes from the heart to the brain than the other way around. So there's this whole idea of heart consciousness and how the heart is connected to this field of, I would say, unlimited intelligence. And so I essentially put together a menu of statements that I could use to ask the heart when I was having a problem. What do I need to know? How can I approach my problem in a different way? Instead of responding or reacting from my brain consciousness, is there a way that I could tap into a greater knowing or a higher wisdom? And so that's how that matrix came about. Now, the question is, well, how does it work? And there I have to say, honestly, I don't know how it works. I think that I believe that we are surrounded by synchronicity, and what I mean by that is that certain events happen in our lives that we would say were total coincidences. But when we look at it, the coincidence seems to have a deeper meaning. The coincidence guided us in a way or solved a problem for us. And that, in that respect, that to me is true synchronicity. So I thought, well, why can't I just ask the heart directly to give me the guidance instead of waiting for some external synchronistic event to happen? So the way I look at it is that, how does the heart know what number to pick that's showing up on a computerized program? And the answer to me is the same way that synchronicity knows when we're having a problem and knows how to give us that direction. I think that I have been a student of quantum physics for many, many years, and I just love the idea that the waveform of matter is sort of, and it's unlimited. It's like we could call it the probability function, where all the possibilities exist simultaneously and sort of in this field, this quantum field. And when you look at it, that field has a vibration, it has a resonance. And if you go back to a lot of religious scriptures and mystical texts, you find that they also talk about this outside or non-local intelligence that is connected to a vibration. And so I always thought that synchronicity, the source of synchronicity, could be accessed through vibration. And when I was looking at heart math and some of the other research that, say, Noetic Sciences is doing through Dean Radin and others, I realized that the heart is a vibration. I mean, the heart is beating 72 times per minute. And when you look at that as that vibration, you start to see that 72 times per minute, the next octave above that is 144. And 144 comes up in a lot of these religious texts also. So that caught my attention. And then you keep going up the ladder and you find that pretty soon you get to the vibration that's the same number as the diameter of the earth, the diameter of the sun, the diameter of the moon. And so you start to feel like there's this number, this vibration that is connected not only to our heart, but to the solar system and the universe. I say, wow, that's what I say. And people that I work with, that's sort of the universal response is wow. And that goes back to synchronicity. If we realize that we're connected to this field of unlimited intelligence, and we just as human beings, I think we are at a crossroad. Well, not a crossroads. I think we're in this great place where we are evolving into a place where we are tapping into a higher sense of awareness, a higher consciousness, if you will. And with that, I find that there are all kinds of tools that are coming out. People are really understanding that we have these abilities. And so Scalar Heart Connection is really just a bridge to help people really connect with what they already know. It's like how elephants know that a tsunami is coming before it comes, or how different animals know when an earthquake is coming before it actually happens. How Rupert Sheldrake has been doing a lot of experiments on how dogs know when their owners are coming home before there's any physical way for them to know that. So there is this sense of knowing. And I think all Scalar Heart Connection is doing is just helping us connect to that.